been another persistent issue with Apex. The devs' inability to decide what experience they want this game to provide. Skill-based matchmaking is a hot-button issue for pretty much all competitive games, and people have their own opinions on whether or not it's good or bad. The Apex fanbase has generally seemed to be against skill-based matchmaking, but an even bigger problem for them is engagement-optimized matchmaking. EOMM is actually in a lot of games, whether it's hidden or not. You know how after you take a break from playing a game, you hop back in and suddenly feel like a smurf, only to get your shit rocked after a few matches? Companies use this to get people to play longer. It's one thing to have a hard line where you are always put into lobbies with people who have the exact same skill level as you. It's another to essentially trick people into having a false sense of skill only to turn it on them later. His Watson laments about this very issue in his video, so I suggest you check it out if you haven't already, because it is truly interesting to hear from a player with that level of skill who has largely dedicated their life and brand to playing this game. But essentially, Apex doesn't know what it wants to be. Some seasons will have new casual game modes with new content, and others will remove those options in favor for sweaty ranked modes. There's never a proper balance. I think it's always held Apex back from being truly great, but now things are at an all-time low because the devs are doing neither. Apex doesn't feel competitive for the top players, and there's no worthwhile content to be seen for the casual audience.
It's in the worst state it's ever been. We're currently in the part of the cycle where the game is just absolutely not competitive in the slightest. Pro teams are dropping 40 kill games consistently, and everyone is getting their participation awards for ranked.
Combine all this with patches and updates that just break the way the game feels, and you now have the current state of Apex Legends, and a player count that has hemorrhaged over 30,000 daily concurrent players in less than a year. So does this mean that the game is dying? I would love to hold out hope and say no. Despite this massive cut, Apex is still sitting at the 10th spot over on Steam charts. And that's even with the context of overnight successes like Marvel Rivals. Having over 100,000 daily players is nothing to scoff at, especially considering the amount of options players have these days and what Apex is currently outperforming. Apex is special, and I don't see a game that flipped an entire genre upside down dying. Still, the drop-off is incredibly significant.
Sean Carter is just as bad as the Diddler, and I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it. He's smarter. Been lining up people he calls friends and stepping to the side while they get hit by the guillotine for 30 years.
What turns music royalty into titans of industry? And how far would some go to keep that power? Ever since the shocking allegations that led to Diddy's arrest, the internet has been flooded with suspicion surrounding what two other music icons close to Diddy knew, and how involved they may have been in the decades of horrific abuses. In this episode of Scandi, we're taking a deep dive into the empire of Jay-Z and Beyonce, and just what all these recent allegations against Jay-Z really mean. We're combing through more than 20 years of interviews,
explosions and flames.
Coming to you live from the Pacific Palisades.
The Palisades fire is still largely uncontained, and it's already the most destructive fire. What are your emotions like watching that happen?
Heart was like pounding like crazy. I mean, I'd never fought a fire before.
I recently got the opportunity to go out to the Palisades to see the devastation that's been brought by the biggest wildfires in LA history. I interviewed one of the residents in the Palisades who managed to save his home, and we're going to talk about everything that I've seen today. So let's get into it. People are being impacted by this displaced, and honestly, we're not on the other end of it yet. To see this with your own eyes, even with everything that I've seen on the news into somebody's homes, because everywhere were chimneys that were lined up down the block where you could see where the houses once had structure. And what was really interesting was the indiscriminate manner in which this fire spread. On some streets, entire houses were taken out where their next door neighbors were fully up and seemingly functional without much damage. And that really speaks to the wild nature of the embers and how they travel in these wildfires. It also speaks to the ability for some to stay in their homes and save them as this fire is raging around them with hoses, using water from their pools, getting water from neighbors and communities that really band together to save as much of their property as they possibly could. The destruction that I saw was really unbelievable and definitely hard to describe. Amongst all of the houses that have been burnt down with virtually nothing left behind, you're also seeing this with businesses and schools. And when you see a house that has managed to make it through this destruction, you're kind of wondering what that person or what that family is going to return to when around their pristine house is an entire community that has been destroyed. The air was smoky, chemically putrid in some areas, and you have to wonder about the ground, the land that people are going to be returning to, and how toxic that has become due to these fires. I saw a squirrel or a bird or two, which really makes you wonder about the ecosystems that live in these communities and how the animals have been impacted on top of the devastation to human life. What I expected to see, but really didn't see at all, was Palisadians going back into these grounds to visit their land and to see what is left of their houses. Now, there is, I guess, some leeway for residents to go back and visit their property with a strict curfew where they will be removed from the area after a set time, but I really didn't see anybody back there, which leads me to believe that it's a little stricter than one would imagine. But I did get to speak to one resident who actually stayed at his home and protected it as the fire was raging. He worked alongside his wife and his community members, his neighbors, to protect as much of their properties as they possibly could as the Palisades fire was raging in the background. His name is Mark Merrill, and you may recognize him, especially if you're a member of the gaming community, because he is the co-chairman and co-founder of Riot Games. He's responsible for League of Legends, Valorant, Arcane, so if
I never compromise.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. "30 seconds until minions spawn."
Your allegiances mean nothing to me.
Feel that, Reaper!
There's nowhere to hide.
Minions have spawned.
On the razor's edge. They won't survive. Only fools pledge life to honor. Don't cross me.
First blood.
Let's finish this quickly. I never compromise. Your allegiance mean nothing to me. Enjoy the taste of steel. There's nowhere to hide. On the razor's edge. They won't survive. Only fools pledge life to honor. Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly.
An enemy has been slain.
I never compromise. Your allegiances mean nothing to me. Nowhere to hide. On the razor's edge. They won't survive. Pathetic. Only fools pledge life to honor.
An enemy has been slain.
Don't cross me. Let's finish this quickly. Never compromise.
An ally has been slain.
Your allegiances mean nothing to me.
An enemy has been slain.
There's nowhere to hide.
You have slain an enemy.
On the razor's edge. They won't survive.
An enemy has been slain.
Pledge life to honor.
An ally has been slain.
Don't cross me.
An enemy has been slain.
Let's finish this quickly. I will not falter! This is no challenge.
An ally has been slain. You have slain an enemy.
Your allegiances mean nothing to me. There's nowhere to hide.
Turret plating will fall soon. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
On the razor's edge. Enjoy the taste of steel. They won't survive. Only fools pledge life to honor.
An enemy has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Let's finish this quickly.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
I never compromise. Your allegiance means nothing to me.
Has been slain. An ally has been slain. Down.
I'm already thinking about it.
Enemy killing spree.
Only fools pledge life to honor. Let's finish this quickly.
Shut down.
Another body for the gun.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Killing spree.
Your allegiance.
An ally has been slain.
There's nowhere to hide. On the razor's edge.
An enemy has been slain.
They won't survive.
enemy has been slain.
This blade's my favorite. Only fools pledge life to honor.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Cross me.
An enemy has been slain.
Their bones will wet my blade.
Rampage. Double kill. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret. Your team has destroyed a turret.